Hello and welcome to the Coaching Mixer with Erin and Elana,
I'm like,
a podcast.
hi.
Yeah,
That's what you're talking to
hello.
me.
I was briefly said maybe next time I'll use my customer service phone voice. For some reason, I
Ooh.
found myself tempted
Wait, do
to.
it. Can you do it now?
Oh, okay. Hello and welcome to the That's not customer service. That's like my NPR voice. I don't know what came out of me just then.
No, with NPR, you have to get really close to the
That's true.
microphone and it's
Yeah, and take some really intense pauses to let the audience really have the words wash over them. Oh my goodness. Yes. Hello, everyone who's listening. We get real on this podcast. We are silly. We make cocktails and talk coaching. What are you drinking today, Erin?
okay. This was a stretch for me. I am
Mm,
normally I have a cocktail maker and he's away again, which is very rude. But
terrible.
I made, so our ingredient for this week was whiskey.
Yep.
And I made a Sagittarius whiskey sour.
What?
And it's a recipe. I can remember what's in it, but you have to like go to her website to find it. It's this website called Witchcraft Cocktails. Maybe I'm saying that wrong.
Ooh.
I have her book, and it's such a good book, but it's like very magical. It's like magically infused. Yeah, witchcraftcocktails.com. And her books are great. Her recipes are really fun, but then she also talks about like the different magical essences behind different herbs and how to mix them and, you know, make your cocktail magical.
That sounds amazing. So you're going to be channeling some stuff for this episode.
Hopefully. And I am a Sagittarius, so it's party time.
I was going to ask, and my only hesitancy was I have no sense of what that means. I've looked up the signs so many times, and for some reason it just leaves my brain. Even though I'm the prototypical Cancer, that's my sign, and I'm feel a lot, shell mode, 100% Cancer.
I love it. I
Wait, so
love
what
it.
is
I mean, I kind of feel like
Sagittarius?
with astrology,
Yeah.
there's like lots of pop culture astrology stuff that's like pretty meaningless. But
Hmm.
then for like the deeper things, if you understand a few things and if they resonate with you and who you are, then it can be really useful, even as like an archetype for deeper integration of who you are.
We
So
need to have an episode about this at some point. I think that would be really interesting because I recently, not recently, but I have a friend who's really into tarot and she read my tarot a while ago. And I was geeking out about how interesting, how fruitful of a sounding board that was. And I think there's a lot of interesting stuff between that and coaching that we could explore.
sign me up. I'm into it.
Yeah.
What are you
Yeah.
drinking? Yours looks fancy. I
I
have a little
It's very much not fancy. I am my own cocktail maker. I don't have a cocktail maker, and we don't really have cocktail things. It is, but it's actually delicious. It's whiskey and apple cider because I wanted to go for fall vibes, even though, as Erin and I were just talking about before we hit record, it's like 80s today suddenly after feeling like fall for a week.
yeah.
So yes, it's whiskey, apple cider, sparkling water, and a splash of lemon juice.
Nice. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I don't remember
Mhm.
all the herbs that I put in this, but I know it's got rosemary. It has an egg white in it, which is the first time like it's a like a sour.
That means
You
it's
could like whip it up
immediately
and make it super
fancy.
fancy, but I mean, I'm solo parenting and I was like, it's just going in the shaker, shaky shake,
Hmm.
do the energy work over it, and then cheers.
So there was energy work
Oh
that you
yeah.
did over
Oh
it?
yeah.
Ooh, okay. We're going to be posting recipes in the show
Yeah.
notes
And I'll post the
on,
link to
yeah,
this website because her book is great, her recipes are great, and she's like a really fun witch.
that sounds amazing. All right. So today is a very exciting episode. We are talking about some of the listener request questions that we've gotten. We'll see. Maybe we'll only do one because we tend to ramble. Maybe we'll do five. I don't know. We'll see. But it's very exciting to get questions and to be able to answer them.
Yeah.
So,
We
yeah.
appreciate people like reaching out to us, telling us what you think, asking us questions. The fact that you want to hear our cocktail addled responses. I was saying like today, I was like, we don't have all the answers, but we have whiskey opinions today.
Yes, that's well said. Yeah, I'm like, do you really want my opinion? Okay, why not? I'm like just kind of blown away that people are listening to this, to be honest. Not that
Me too. No.
Yeah. Anyway,
I will tell you, I had an alumni client reach out to me and say that she loves the podcast and she's like, I want to do a tune up with you. Like, I think it's time. I'm just like, things that you're saying are resonating with me. And I was like, yeah, there's something to in this world of, we talked about AI last time, in this world of like feeling so disconnected or feeling like everything that someone creates is always directly tied to a marketing piece, which we have to do. That's part of the deal. But to be able to do something that's like fun and creative and like hanging out and have that be a way of creating safety and trust with someone, it was like, that's very cool. Yay.
Yeah, like on a human level, it's awesome. And then on a business level, for anyone who owns a business, like maybe you can just let yourself do what seems fun for a little bit. And it doesn't have to be, everything does not have to be fully strategic, because this, as we talked about before, this podcast was not strategic. In fact, parts of us were like, is this a good idea?
Is this okay?
Is this okay?
Sorry if you don't like alcohol. People who don't like alcohol. We respect that too. We do mocktails. We've done caffeine.
We do.
Do more mocktails in the future.
Yes. Yes. All right.
You want to start with the first question we got that kicked this whole
Sure.
off? Okay.
Sure. Okay. So a listener wrote, I love that we get to say that. A listener wrote,
fancy.
There's a popular idea in the coaching industry that coaches can or should be able to coach on anything, including things they haven't mastered themselves. That they can coach people on how to make 1 million without having made 1 million. That they can coach people on weight loss without having lost weight themselves. Real talk. What do we think about this? I'm obsessed with this question.
It's such a well-formed, thoughtful question. And I'm like, oh, I want to know what this person thinks of it. I kind of wish they had told us what they thought. Maybe they will reach back out and yes, is a coach. But I would love to know what that person thinks about this. I don't know. What do you think? What's your current flexible stance on it? Or maybe it's not flexible.
No, it's flexible. There might be inflexible parts, but so I feel like this is probably going to be a long episode.
Great.
As with anything, I feel like there are a lot of different angles to look at this from. So like the first thing that comes to mind is, sorry, I'm just rereading it.
Yeah. I'll take a sip of my drink while you.
I think, yes, enjoy. So I think as coaches, we have to connect with ourselves around what it means to have integrity as a coach. I don't think anyone else can generally, I don't think other people can impose their idea of what it looks like to have integrity as a coach. I think if one has come to a decision around who they feel comfortable coaching and why that feels good to them and aligned with the work they want to be doing in the world, cosign, awesome. Personally, I don't feel, with some caveats, I don't feel drawn to make an entire business around work that I personally have not done. That just doesn't feel good to me. And I think part of how I want to, part of how I learn whether these tools work or not is by using them myself.
Yep.
So I think general in terms of if I were to niche down into an area, I don't know that I would be compelled to niche down into an area that I haven't quote unquote mastered, whatever that means to me. That said, I've worked as a general life coach, for years, and I've coached $1 million, multi-million dollar business owners. I haven't made that. And I've worked as a contract coach for a company that coaches farmers.
Hmm.
I'm not a farmer.
So
I have
cool.
like a black thumb. I don't I don't know what the opposite of a green thumb is, but like and I found that actually not having an expertise in that area, as long as I'm very clear that I'm doing mindset coaching and not like practical strategy coaching,
Yeah.
I found that not having that expertise sometimes actually makes it easier for me to empower the client to rely on their own expertise and
Yeah.
to not come in with like any preconceived notions about what is right and what is wrong for them. So that's like a very long-winded and convoluted answer, but I
I don't
think,
think so. I think
yeah.
that's good. I think that's really fair and it's really kind. I agree with you. You know, I have a client who, you know, I'm not sharing anything I can't share because she's been on my podcast and we've talked about it publicly. She thanked me in her thesis or her PhD, one of her PhDs. And I was like, wow, the only thing I could read in your PhD was my name.
I
That's the
love
only
it.
thing I understood. So I think that like to your point, if we know what we are coaching on, if it's mindset, like I can help someone get a project done. And it totally doesn't matter if that project is a keynote that I have no idea on the topic, if it's a PhD and I did not go to university. Um,
Hmm.
like if I'm clear and honest about my expertise in being able to help people get things done, to, you know, remove or move through their own static, to walk through challenges, to have someone in their corner that, as you said, like maybe isn't part of their industry and doesn't share some of the unhelpful mindset, the fixed mindset things that every other person writing their PhD was like, this is going to take you 7 years. And this person didn't want it to take 7 years. So I didn't
Hmm.
share that. And I was like, why couldn't you get it done by January? Like, what? It was like just having that possibility because I wasn't shackled to that industry's attitude and mindset about it.
Yeah.
Where I where I struggle is with the people who, first of all, aren't being honest. You
Mm-hmm.
said lack of integrity, which was very fair. I'm going to say like people who are just straight up lying. Like, you
Yeah.
know, I think unfortunately there's a lot of people who claim to have made millions who have not done that. And they're going
Hmm.
to show you their way that they made millions, but they actually haven't done it. Or they've, you know, there's just a lot of shady shit,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
There are, and I mean, in the executive coaching world, there are plenty of people coaching executives who've never had an executive role. And it doesn't mean that they're less effective. It just means they're going to be coming at something with a theory more than a lived experience.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a CEO who wants a coach who's had experience as a CEO, that's hard to find because those people are going to just be CEOs and then they're going to retire. They're not interested in coaching. So I don't think necessarily you have to have the experience if you're clear on it. If it's actually
Yeah.
aligned with your vision and you know why you are doing it, it's not just like, I think if I coach business people, I'm going to make lots of money. So let me just call myself a business coach, which
Hmm.
unfortunately a lot of people in the space I am in, that's what they do.
Yeah, I think that's right on that. Like, I don't see any problem with, so like personally, like my personal stuff aside, I don't see any problem with coaches coaching on anything as long as they're upfront about their experience. If they're spinning their experience, hiding their experience, or lying about their experience, like, yeah, that I have a problem with. And I think, like, even in myself, that's a little bit of a barometer. Like, if I earlier this year, when like I was in kind of a sabbatical mode and like not really creating very much, and a lot of my work prior to that had been about like unhinged explosive creativity. And like suddenly that, and I'm not saying this is true for everyone. Like I think
Yeah.
probably I could have actually continued to do that content because I know I've done it and I know how to coach on it. But like that just, it didn't feel right to me. I didn't feel called to coach on that. And I noticed in myself like wanting to sort of spin how I was
Yeah.
talking about this moment of pause that I was taking so that and that was a sign to me like, oh wait, you need to like step back a little bit here. Maybe this isn't what you're called to coach on or to like market around at least at this moment.
Yeah. And I mean, I think you have the presence of mind and the type of mindset to know what felt right and had integrity for you. I think sometimes what I notice trips people up is they think like, oh, if I'm a weight loss coach, I have to have lost all the weight. I
Hmm.
mean, I don't necessarily know that that's true. I sometimes wonder if that's just like an effect of the patriarchy saying like
Mm.
we have to be perfect people before we can help someone else with their mindset. I mean, I know so many people in other professions. I know doctors who smoke. I know
Yeah.
when I burnt out as a yoga teacher because I was
Hmm.
not doing any of the beautiful things I was sharing with other people.
Hmm.
It didn't mean that I wasn't transmitting something to those people. It didn't mean that I wasn't a positive force in their life and on their journey, but there was some like shame I feel like within myself and from other people who are like, oh, well, if you're in this yoga bubble energetically, you should just be like totally fine and physically and emotionally. And I'm like, that's not true. I think sometimes having some experience of how hard the journey is can make you more compassionate to your clients. And
Yeah.
and maybe it's topic specific, like maybe it's, I don't need someone who's run a billion-dollar company to teach me how to grow my business by 10%
Hmm.
if it's a mindset issue. And even if
Hmm.
it's a strategic issue, because that's going to be two different worlds.
Right. Yeah.
I'm trying to think, like, what do you think? Are there any? Okay, I'm like, what would be a thing? Like, would I go to a coach for parenting coaching who didn't have a child?
Mm.
I can't see myself doing that personally as a client. Um, only because I'd be like, no, you really don't know how hard it is. like I think they
Yeah.
would be like, well, you should never have to raise your voice at a kid. And I'm like, I don't know any parents that have never yelled at their kids.
Hmm. Yeah. Do you think it would be unethical or wrong or bad for a non-parent to decide they're called to coach on parenting?
Not at all. I mean, I know plenty of
Hmm.
therapists who have kids who are clients who have patients with kids and they don't have kids. Like,
Hmm.
I think it's more like, would it be helpful? Like, I don't need my massage therapist to have a neck problem to understand how to fix my neck because there is some kind of methodology to that.
Yeah.
But I might feel as a client that I need someone who gets some of the parenting trap and the female conditioning that I've gone through, the women's conditioning that I've gone through. If I had an issue with my kids, I've been coached by people who have no kids on my kids,
Hmm.
and it's been totally great. But I don't know if I was like looking for that, if that would be the person I would gravitate towards personally.
Yeah. Yeah, which is totally fair. And I think all the more reason we need to be very upfront about our experiences.
Yeah. They could sell me on it. They could be like, because I don't have kids, like I can coach a doctor. I've never been a doctor. I've worked in a clinic.
Yeah.
I have like a little experience with patient load and clinic politics. Like I can understand that on the periphery, but if you need a charting coach, then you need to go to the charting coach, doctor coach. person
Mm,
for
hmm
strategy, I think.
hmm I came up with one I think that I would feel weird about
Yeah, tell me.
if, and it's interesting. It's less about the concrete result. Like I would go to someone for business coaching to hit a certain milestone if they seemed like a good fit and their methodology seemed sound and they like maybe hadn't reached the business milestone. But if I were to go to someone for, I don't know, like working less than having more fun while working and they were like miserable in their
Mhm.
business
Yeah.
and not doing the work themselves
Yeah.
around, to me that's like deeper, harder, richer work in
Yeah.
some weird way than like hitting the milestone. So that
Yeah.
I don't know that I would feel good about that. And like if someone were struggling with that and hadn't like weren't actively working on it or like making changes in their life to address it, and they were like, this is my business, I'm the like have a blast while you're doing business coach while they're like
Great.
losing
Great
hair
tagline.
because of stress. Thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah. um I would be like, I don't know about that. I don't know about
Yeah.
that.
I think it's I'm this is interesting because I'm just like, okay, so what's the difference? Like, why could a coach or therapist potentially be a great like parenting coach or therapist, even if they didn't have the experience of having a kid? But why could someone who's like have a blast while growing your business?
TM.
I wish I had seriously. I'm like, oh, I should have talked to you before I did all my branding. I mean, I don't know that I don't even know if I believe that's possible because it's not always a blast, but
Right, right.
I do think you can work less.
Yeah.
I think some of it is like how much of their lived experience is informing the tools. Because I think when I
Mm.
think about like someone that's in a more regulated profession, like a therapist, I'm like they are filtering through tools and studies and techniques that have years of evidence in their own practice or in the larger therapeutic world. Coaching is still like the wild, wild west.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of collaboration, unfortunately. There's not a lot of sharing. Um, and I would just want to be like, is this person teaching me a method that they're not even personally using to have a better
hmm
life? It would be hard for me to trust that.
Yeah.
That's like the thing. I'm like, I could see, I have actually, I was thinking about like, I've been coached by people who are not parents that really helped me with my
hmm
kids and probably didn't have a lot of the preconceived notions that other parents have. Ugh, but I don't know. Yeah, for like a business, like if someone just started their business yesterday, I'm like, what tools and methodology are you teaching and what experience do you have with that, either with your clients or with yourself?
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be someone's guinea pig that I'm paying to help me.
hmm Unless it's a very explicit
Yeah. Unless we're test
relationship.
driving something and it's a beta
Yeah.
program and you tell me that, which
hmm
I've done and it's great. But
hmm Yeah. I think there's something about in that example that does feel like it goes a little bit to the being upfront
yeah,
about things. Like I would assume that someone does not build a successful business around like enjoying your business while being, I mean, maybe they'd be open about how much they
yeah,
hate their business. And if so, like that's fine. They're probably
yeah,
just not for me. But if instead they are marketing themselves as like, look at how much I'm enjoying like the beautiful Instagram filtered, like
mhm,
this is my coffee sort
yeah.
of thing. Um,
It's my 5 p.m.
I'm
cocktail.
right. Then I think that kind of goes to like, can I trust this person? How will they show up for our relationship? Will they like push me toward things that I don't necessarily, that aren't, I don't know, don't feel right or like aren't tested or I don't know.
Yeah. And that honestly, that can be tricky territory with people who have so much experience with the thing. Um, I mean, that can be hard because sometimes those people don't. I will just speak from my own experience. So I started my coaching business, and my niche for the first couple of years was relationship coaching.
Mm-hmm.
I was in a relationship, I was in a marriage. I had really figured out some pretty disastrous just issues with myself about relationships. And I have had like, that was back then, my old husband. No, I have an amazing partner who was like very patient as I was figuring out a lot of my stuff and was really able to be present with me. But I couldn't like meet him on a lot of that because I just had so many weird dysfunctional relationships in the past. I was always like in a position of like picking fixer uppers. And
Mm-hmm.
then suddenly I had this person and I'm like, oh, I'm the mess in this relationship. I'm the problem. That
Uh-oh.
man was me. And it really like rocked me. And the first year of our marriage, it was like so hard, and mindset work really helped me. Coaching really helped me. And I like figured out some things, felt very passionate about supporting other people with that, wrote a book about it. And then as I was kind of coming to a place of equanimity, let's call it, I then started kind of resenting all of the relationship coaching I was doing. Like, I can
Oh,
still
mm-hmm.
talk about people in the relationships. I could be really present with people. I still do some of that work. But when it was like 8 hours a day of hearing about people fighting, I just wasn't as present as I wanted to be. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
literally was like, go read page da 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 of the book, try the exercise. And I was like, okay, at this point, I feel like the book is my gift to the world.
Yeah.
And I'm like was much more interested in my clients who had businesses, and I was making money in my business. So I'm like, I felt like, oh, I have integrity now to talk about how to build a
Mm-hmm.
business that wasn't built on let me help you build a business, wasn't a business coaching business for business coaches. Like, that whole
TM.
TM
New
business
title.
coaching business for
The
business
smart
coaches.
business coaches.
But like that was like a big thing in that period of time. The only
Yeah. Oh
coaches in
yeah.
that space were still
Still
is,
is.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which like yes, coaches need business coaches.
Yeah. No
Amazing.
shade.
But not
Maybe a
no
little bit
shade.
of shade. We had a little bit of shade.
A little shade
I'm going to be
only
honest.
only if it's not with integrity.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Some of them have no integrity. Some of them are amazing. Totally amazing. But at that point, as I was like kind of switching into really only working with entrepreneurs, I was like, this is a problem I'm interested in. And this is also a problem that I can never have an ego about. I can never be like, just go read this page of the book.
Mm-hmm.
I hope I didn't ever say that to someone, but I definitely just kind of like felt the aftermath of it's just me talking about people and their arguments over and over again. And I just kind of like got into the mindset. I'm like, I see how therapists get burnt out. I see how people
Yeah.
who are in a hyper focused niche can get really burnt out. When I'm coaching somebody on business, I never know what's going to work, what's not going to work. It's like total humility at all times, which I think is very good for Sagittarius me.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm kind of going through a sort of similar experience. Not that like I love coaching creatives on anything, but a lot of the content that I was creating like a year plus ago was around treating yourself better when you're creating, like as the means, especially
Mm,
for perfectionists or people who are hard on themselves, to create more and like enjoy themselves when they're doing it.
yeah.
And I love doing that work. And I do think there came a point for me where like talking about it all the time, I was like kind of bored of
Yeah.
my own voice around it because I
Right.
felt like I said a lot of what I needed to say and I'd done a lot of the work for myself around that. I'm not saying like I fully transcended sometimes I'm self-critical and stuff like that. But I I think for me, and maybe it sounds like for you as well, and probably a lot of like engaged creative people,
Mhm.
we got to be like stimulated by the work that we're doing. And so if it
Yes.
starts feeling rote, it's hard to engage with that.
My
I don't know,
mind is,
like,
yeah, my mind is actually glitching right now because I'm like, oh, this is the case for not needing to have the experience of your
I know I
clients.
was just thinking that. I was like, wait, what does that mean for our answer to this question? I mean, I think essentially my answer to this question, having had this conversation, is like, no, I don't think coaches have to have mastered the tools, but like be real about it. Don't be sneaky or shady or hide your experience. And if you feel the need to, that's a reality check for you to like take a look at what's going on. Is that patriarchal conditioning being like you have
Must be
to
perfect.
have 100% on the job description in order to do the job, or is it some like inner voice telling you there's some like you don't feel comfortable doing this? But yeah, I think maybe I do think the difference though, or what we've identified there is for people, if you're going to coach on something that you haven't mastered, and you're going to make that more than like a one-off thing or more than like a one client thing if you're a general coach, but if you're going to niche into something that you haven't mastered, you should probably be grappling with that thing actively, because I think a lot of the tools that help people are products of the act of trial and error and grappling with something and ruminating on it and exploring how to make the process easier.
Yeah. I mean, you just said that so beautifully. And it reminds me of one of our mentors, Bev. She's a really good friend of mine. And I remember her saying to me on several occasions, and she said it to lots of people, but she's like, you can only go as deep with your clients as you've been with yourself. So
Mm,
it may not have to be the same experience, but you have to be like grappling with whatever your thing is. Um, Having integrity means not just like what I kind of felt like at some point. Just go read page 85 of the fucking book.
yeah.
That'll tell you the exact process for how to have a challenging conversation.
Hmm.
Rather than doing that, it could have been like, okay, well, what am I grappling with that's hard? Even if it's not this particular situation anymore, it's sort of like having to plug in your humanity on like whatever level you're at, because I do actually think you can transcend self-judgment.
Mm.
I my big when I was doing master coach training, my daily work was this self-worth meditation that I did every day. And I felt so stupid doing it. I recorded myself doing it. I listened to it every day. And that was the first year that I made money.
Mm,
And all these
hmm.
kind of magical things happened in my personal life. It was a very tough year for a lot of other reasons. But I just remember at one point, the narrative that had been running in the background about how I was messing everything up all the time, or how like I was always a mess and da 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 da. It just like wasn't there. And it doesn't mean that there's not sometimes a narrative that's not as pleasant, but it's like that is no longer something that stops me.
Hmm.
And like for a while, I could use that with the relationship folks until I transitioned into the land I'm in now, where I am always nervous before my coaching calls because I'm like,
Ooh,
who knows what is going on? Who
sounds so
knows what
fun.
they're going to bring me that's going to be big and deep and hard, or maybe I'm going to get to be strategic and talk about content. Like it's always a mystery.
Hmm.
And I'm like, that is what I need in my business. And it doesn't totally matter what the topic is, but for me to actually deliver anything to someone, it has to be kind of that reciprocal work.
Yeah. Hmm.
Okay, so now I'm curious, as you're maybe shifting, do you have any inklings of what that might be?
Oh my God. I like 5 a day and then sometimes none for weeks.
Love it.
My recent thing, which I don't know if I'll do anything with this, but I found I'm deeply fascinated by collaborations. And I feel like we don't talk about collaborations enough
Oh, mm-hmm.
in the world. And I think that collaborations are kind of like the key to many, many things in the world.
Yep.
Coming from a theater background, it took me longer than it should have to realize that I think a key to my creativity and my ability to like produce stuff in the world is community and collaborations. And I know a lot of
Mm,
people learn that through other avenues and stuff, but I think a lot of coaching is very much about how to become like fully self-reliant and basic not all coaching, but some
yeah.
like bad coaching in my opinion. But I do think a lot of the like it's like hyper individualism in a way, which there's value in aspects of that. And I think there's something magical about like this podcast, for example, has actually opened my eyes to a lot. Like I've been thinking about doing a podcast on and off for a couple of years and haven't pulled the trigger. And like in one semi tipsy conversation, we had this random idea and then we kind of supported each other in making it happen. And it's felt pretty easy so far. We're like very early days, of course, and who knows what it will evolve into or if it'll evolve like I don't know, who knows?
Yeah.
But so that's something that, and there's a lot of interesting territory there in terms of like how to be in relationship with other
Mhm.
people, how to be in relationship when you're building something, when a relationship is like complete. That's really fascinating to me.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that'll lead to anything, but that's something I'm fascinated by that I feel could be useful.
I love that. I mean, unfortunately, coaching seems to be like a very lone wolf situation. Like, even, I don't know if you have heard of the whole Jan Winhall course
Mm,
that's
yeah.
happening. She collaborates with somebody new every week to produce something. She's always bringing people in. She's teaching other people's methodologies within her course, like things she loves. She's weaving them in, she's bringing them in. And I'm like, yeah, I feel like there are other industries that are close to ours that have really mastered that art. And
Hmm.
coaches are really siloed. It's very like a lone wolf, sadly, a lone wolf situation.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, we could probably spend a long time exploring why that is. I think maybe part of it feels like you're in competition with other coaches, or I don't know. But I think there is something magical that happens when you bring multiple minds together on many,
Yeah.
many different levels. So,
Totally
yeah.
agree. I mean, we have people asking if they can come on our show, just so you know.
Ooh, I did not know that. That would be fun.
We can add, we can start a party line.
Oh my God, I love it.
Oh my gosh.